Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope it shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more the gift is given. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace it shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love it shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
Good morning and welcome to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Joanna. Happy 4th of July. I'm so glad that you could be with us here this morning. We're going to get into some complexities of what it means to be in the USA, especially on this day. We have several of our members who are going to share with you their thoughts about changes that the United States could make that would really help this country to live up to its great potential. We've also got some special music. We are so lucky to have so many gifted musicians who have helped us get through this whole pandemic time of doing church. Whether we are online or in person, it is the tradition in Unitarian Universalist congregations to light a flaming chalice at the beginning of our worship services and other gatherings. So if you have a candle or a chalice, if you could pull it toward you as we all light our chalices together.
Turn back, forswear thy foolish ways. Old now is earth, and none may count its days. proclaim. Turn back, forswear thy foolish ways. Earth might be fair, its people glad and wise. Age after age our tragic empires rise, built while we dream, and in that dreaming weep. Would we but wake from out our haunted sleep, earth might be fair and people glad and wise. Earth shall be fair and all its people one, nor till that hour shall God's whole will be done. Now, even now, once more from earth to sky, peals forth in joy that old undaunted cry. Earth shall be fair and all its people one.
Good morning. I'm Carrie Krause, the Director of Lifespan Faith Development here at Live Oak UU Church. This morning's story is about American tradition, diversity, and the 4th of July. It's titled Apple Pie 4th of July by Janet S. Wong. 7 days a week, 52 weeks, 364 days a year, 365 in leap year, our store is open. Christmas is the only day we close. Even on Thanksgiving we are open. Even on New Year's Day. Even on the 4th of July. I hear the parade coming. Boom, boom, boom. And I smell apple pie in Laura's oven upstairs. Chow mein in our kitchen. Chow mein. Chinese food on the 4th of July? No one wants Chinese food on the 4th of July, I say. Fireworks are Chinese, says Father, and he hands me a pan of sweet and sour pork. I hear the parade, boom, boom, boom. I hear the parade passing by. Noon, and customers come for soda and potato chips. 1 o'clock, and they buy ice cream. 2 o'clock, the egg rolls are getting hard. 3 o'clock, ice and matches. 4 o'clock, and the noodles feel like shoelaces. No one wants Chinese food on the 4th of July, I say. Mother piles noodles on my plate. My parents do not understand all American things. They were not born here. Even though my father has lived here since he was 12, even though my mother loves apple pie, I cannot expect them to know Americans do not eat Chinese food on the 4th of July. So I straighten the milk and the videos and sample a few new candy bars until 5 o'clock, when 2 hungry customers walk inside for Chinese food to go. I tell them no one came, so we ate it up ourselves. But they smell food in the kitchen now, and Mother walks through the swinging door holding a tray of chicken chow mein, and Father follows her step for step with a brand new pan of sweet and sour pork. And 3 more people get in line. 11 more at 6 o'clock, 9 at 7, 12 by 8. More and more and more and more until it's time to close the store. Time to climb to our rooftop chairs way up high beyond the crowd, where we sit and watch the fireworks show and eat our apple pie. And that's our story for this morning.
There's a black man with a black cat living in a black neighborhood. He's got an interstate running through his front yard. You know he thinks he's got it so good. There's a woman in the kitchen cleaning up the evening slop. And he looks at her and says, "Hey darling, I remember when you could stop a clock. Oh, but ain't that America, you and me? Ain't that America, something to see, baby? Ain't that America, home of the free? Yeah, little pink houses for you and me. Oh yeah, for you and me." There's a young man in a t-shirt, listen to a rock and roll station. He's got greasy hair and a greasy smile. He says, "Lord, this must be my destination." 'Cause he told me when I was younger, said, "Boy, you're gonna be president." But just like everything else, those old crazy dreams just kinda came and went. Oh, but ain't that America, you and me? Ain't that America, something to see, baby? Ain't that America, home of the free? Yeah, little pink houses for you and me. Oh, baby, yeah, for you and me.
When Reverend Joe asked us what kind of country we wanted to see, what would make us proud to be here, it gave me great pause. I'm not sure I've ever been particularly proud about it. I never thought about it, though up until about 5 years ago I wasn't unproud of it, but I wasn't ashamed of it until, for obvious reasons, in 2016 when I was. But I guess now we're back on track, kind of, to be someplace that could be great if we wanted it to be. And I realize that as a parent, it's not about my pride, but what do I want for my child, the grandchild of immigrants that so many in this country openly have disdain for, and really for all of our children. How can we make their country a place of pride? And when I really thought about it, I remembered when my child was little and I was torn between working with all my salary going toward daycare, if I could find one with availability, and staying home, and how lucky I was to have that as an option when so many people can't give up an income even when daycare takes so much of it. They need even that small amount of salary left over just to survive. So why can't we have a country where reliable, safe, fun childcare is, if not universal, at least greatly subsidized? I heard an interview with Senator Warren, who told the story of how when she was trying to go to law school and couldn't find daycare for her daughter, and when she could find it, she could barely afford it, and she almost couldn't go to law school. And can you imagine if Liz Warren couldn't go to law school? I mean, how would she ever be president or senator? Do you want to live in a world where Liz Warren isn't a voice? Come on. You know what else I think about a lot? Now that the kid who I had to spend a fortune on daycare for is now a teenager? College. And look, I'm not saying every kid should go to Harvard for free. I actually don't think anybody's saying that. But community colleges should be for the community. They should be free for every single person at all times. Anyone from 18 years old to 108 years old. And they should provide technical training for people interested in a trade, and classes for general ed and continuing ed classes. And I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to wish for. Think of how many 22-year-olds are saddled with debt just to be qualified for a job to pay back those loans. What if they could cut that debt in half or have none at all? Repeated studies have shown how extensively student debt affects debt holders and their ability to have long-term and emergency savings and buy a house or to start a business. It's even affecting the structures of families themselves. People are delaying marriage and having children, if not skipping that entirely. And how is that a family first program? Not to mention, if kids can go to college in part for free, then that'll force state and private universities to offer competitive tuition, making college in fact cheaper for everyone. And let's talk healthcare. Look, I don't know how to do it. My political experience comes from West Wing episodes. Let Bartlett be Bartlett. But we can't continue on like this. Insulin costs $500 to $900 a month on average. And that's insulin, the drug people need literally to stay alive. It's non-negotiable. Why is that not free? And why is healthcare tied to our jobs? Imagine how creative we could be if we didn't have to work a soul-crushing 9-to-5 job just to afford our kids' asthma medication. We could be entrepreneurs, we could be artists, we could just spend more time with our families. Also, wouldn't a national healthcare policy be good for employers too? They could stop paying healthcare fees and redirect some of that money to increase wages and therefore employ more qualified people, or even put it back in their businesses. But we can't continue like this, where one bad accident sends us into bankruptcy. GoFundMe campaigns are not actually healthcare. So I guess that's what would make me proud. Is that wanting too much?
What would make the world a better place? Well, I really think it's the ability to have critical thinking within our community. I'm a scientist, and I was trained and brought up on the scientific method. And this scientific method is the way to discriminate against facts versus misinformation or cherry picking data to get at what you want for a conclusion. And in today's society, we have a real war against information. And there's so much misinformation that's being spread. And as a result, bad decisions are being made because of that. That has real potential implications on people. I think critical thinking will help us determine what is the best potential outcome based upon the data. And so we don't have to argue about the facts. We can just argue about what's the best policy. I understand that there's going to be questions about morals, and that's a little bit different. But if you can't get a grasp at what is the basic facts, then we're never going to be able to move on with making the best decisions. And looking at what the Texas legislature was doing over this past session, there were so many arguments that were made about the different bills that were not about getting to the facts or getting to the best potential outcome. What it was about is being influential to the base or whoever you're trying to communicate to. And really and truly getting at the best possible decision was not the goal. And so as a society, I think we really need to come together and be able to discriminate facts so that we're able to take the emotion out of our decisions and just focus on the facts and what is the best potential outcome moving forward.
I'd like to explore some words with you. Communism, fascism, socialism, capitalism. I'd like to show you how those words are loaded with opposing meanings, contradictory meanings, and are not useful for imagining the future. My personal story is that I was born in Cuba into a civil war with opposition brewing against the cruel dictator, and my family leaving Cuba when I was young for political and economic reasons. I grew up in a confusing atmosphere of extremes. Communism was either very, very good or very, very bad, depending on who you talk to. Revolution was either crushing or supporting human rights. Capitalism was either the road to freedom or the road to cruel exploitation. Even after traveling many times to Cuba and speaking with my family and who stayed on the island and studying on my own, it was very hard to find my own truth, to find the truth. And that was Cuba. And later I realized the same about the United States. So what do we need in order to evolve into a better future? Well, we're already doing a few great things. One is we're beginning to acknowledge all of our history, our personal history, our country's history. We're perceiving the wrongs through the lens of what trauma was caused and what would it take to heal that trauma, instead of always being punitive, finding out who did wrong and punishing them. We're also talking about an economy of care rather than an economy just of production and more production. We're getting more comfortable with non-binary thinking, beyond male, female, black versus white, beyond humans versus animals. We're getting more comfortable with the range, with the spectrum, with the value of each person, animal, plant. We're talking in terms of ecology and interdependence. So all of that will help us to to move forward, to evolve. And we'll do it on two levels. We have to do it at a local community level, and find out how we can include everyone here to not have any discardable people that we just throw outside of our community. We need to examine our power structures and find a way to share. We need to find a way to share also at a global level where we can strengthen our relations through treaties and through the United Nations. We've seen we need a global level of agreement. The coronavirus has taught us this. Our climate chaos is teaching us this. And also our wars. These wars do tremendous damage, as well as creating trauma that ripples through many generations. We must find alternatives, a way to share this beautiful planet. So on what do we base our patriotism? Is it a knee-jerk opposition or loyalty to vague terms like communism and capitalism? I would be very proud of the United States if we stopped producing, selling, and using weapons of war, including using diplomatic weapons such as the blockade still against Cuba. And instead, we move to acknowledging that we are all on the same precious, precarious spaceship.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. I'm Oliver. I think that if America would have the best interests of everyone in mind whenever making big decisions, would really make me proud. If they listened to people and tried to hear their opinions and then negotiated, that would make me very happy, and I would love that. I think that a lot of the problems in America right now is leaders being too power hungry and having too much power. So I think that if they stopped trying to use that power to get even more power, then it would vastly improve America as a whole. For example, there are massive corporations that have giant factories and they pump out so much smoke and pollution into the water, into the air. And I think if they listened to all of the activists and people saying that they should probably change how they do business, it would go a huge, long way to changing and stopping climate change. Climate change is super important because it is pretty much life and death at this point. If we keep pumping and heating up the atmosphere, our world will eventually become unlivable. The corporations interact with politicians and bribe them a lot, like just donating to their campaigns and giving them a lot of leeway and sponsorships just so that their policies don't change and they can keep making money. And I think that that needs to change. Taking the power away from corporations will definitely make me admire America a lot more. Because right now it's a very capitalist society, and it makes me sad. It doesn't make me proud to be American in any way.
What would make you proud? What kind of government do you think would make you proud?
A democratic, like an actually democratic government, not one that bends the rules so that everything tilts their way and they can manipulate and confuse people to get their way. And that always is just horrible to think about, because whenever I think, oh, we could probably change this, this can be easily changed, I think about how the politicians have altered it so that it's almost impossible to change a lot of the things that they want to keep.
Anything else that you would change about the United States?
Trying to see from another person's perspective, that could go a huge way. I mean, a lot of the problems with America is us versus them. And if we could finally evolve out of that, then there's nothing that can stop us, I think.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning, and a special thank you to everyone who made this service possible. Our speakers, our musicians, our producers, and you. Thank you for bringing your presence to this gathering. May you go forward, knowing that you are lovable and loved, and you are not alone.
Soon the day will arise when we will be together, and no longer will we live in fear. And the children will smile without wondering whether on that day thunder clouds will appear. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Wait and see